Still no Sonic, and apparently no proper camera because I sort of ruined my mic. And, well, I'm recording this on a phone right now. That's how low I've gotten. Anyway, regardless, Doctor Who, Series 11, Episode 10, the finale. The Battle of Ranskoor of Kolos. I believe that's how you pronounce the name of the planet. Wow, what a ride! It's been a full series. Well, ish. It hasn't been the full 13 episode series that we've loved, and it hasn't been the 12 episode series that we've gotten used to with the Capaldi era. But regardless, short as it is, the series has finally come to an end, and now it's time to talk about it. Let's first talk about this episode because I'm going to do a full review on the entire series as a whole once I get a little more time to binge all of the episodes one after the other, which I am planning to do. But right now, let's just talk about the Battle of Ranskoor of Kolos. That's, again, I believe that's how you pronounce the name of the planet. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I didn't think it was the best written episode of this series, but it still, as a series finale, it had a lot going for it, and it really very much delivered on everything it needed to. As far as tying the whole series together and delivering a satisfying ending. It did all that. It also introduced a bunch of new characters, some new mythologies to the Doctor Who universe, to the new Doctor Who lore. It brought back certain characters that we've almost expected not to see again, but overall, I'd say it's a very solid ending to the series, to all the different storylines that have followed these specific group of characters over the course of the last 10 episodes. And it very much drew on certain things that have happened in previous episodes as build up to what happened in this episode, like the Watch from Demons of the Punjab, like obviously the Stenza, the Sniper Bots, a lot of different elements that all came back to a glorious finish, I guess you could say. I suppose the one thing I can say sort of disappointed me about this episode concerning the planets that have sort of been reduced to sort of micro size. First of all, that's nothing new, I believe. I think it already happened once in the Fourth Doctor era, the Fourth Doctor story, The Pirate Planet, but regardless, I guess I kind of expected to be those planets were some of the main planets that we've visited over the course of this series, to, you know, give them a little bit more importance, to strengthen the storylines of these specific planets. But we didn't get that, and that's fine. I'm not super complaining about it. It was just a bunch of random planets that Earth happened to be a part of that equation. But regardless, the end result, I think, was done very well, and the story itself was handled pretty well. Again, the Doctor, Jodie Whittaker, there's nothing else I can say about it. She's just perfect in the role. I'm not saying she's the perfect Doctor. I'm not saying she's the best Doctor. I'm just saying that as far as an actor playing a role that's been inherited by several other actors in the past, and still somehow managing to infuse something new into this role, she does that. She does that just as well, if not better, than some of the other actors that have came before her. And with her being the first woman in this role, that's an achievement. That's a milestone, I'd say. So I give full credit to her. Bradley Walsh, I mean, this probably is his best episode in the series so far. And I'm not even making this up. It's just, he gets better every time, but in this episode, he had a a very interesting arc to fulfill in this episode, and he delivered with flying colors, as did Tosin Cole as Ryan. Really showed up there at the end, and I definitely give a little bit more credit to Yaz as well. Again, much like most of the other episodes this series, she didn't really get a lot to do, but the stuff that she did have to do, Mandip Gill delivered and performed to the best of her abilities. Even though that said, unfortunately, Yaz is probably still gonna be remembered as the weakest of the companions this series, and it's a shame, but that's life, I guess. I guess that's a compromise of having to juggle 3 companions at the same time. I think Chris Chibnall had a little bit of a challenge. He might have bitten off more than he could chew with this series, not just this episode, but this entire series as a whole, and it more or less came to bite him on the ass. But regardless, I believe Chris Chibnall has one more series on his schedule, and he's probably going to leave right after that. I think. I don't know. I don't know this for sure. I have no way of confirming this, but I think it might be time for Chris Chibnall to leave after the next series. I think he should pass the baton on to another showrunner. As far as the other guest stars of this episode, they did a brilliant job. That's the thing about Doctor Who guest stars. They just show up, they introduce a character, and then just you move on in the next episode. But much like most of the other episodes of this series, these guest stars were brilliant. They were perfect for the role that they were required to perform. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. I really also enjoyed the return of Zim Shaw, or Tim Shaw. Let's just call him Tim Shaw, because that's what the Doctor calls him. That's just a classic example of what happens when you let one of your enemies live. I mean, I'm not saying that the Doctor should have killed him. Of course not. That's not what I'm saying at all. It's just sometimes, I guess it's a bit of a mirror reflection of what happened with Rusty from the Capaldi era. The distinguishing difference is that Rusty just became sort of a semi-good guy at the end, whilst Tim Shaw took a very similar route, but he went in a bad place. And it's really not something you would expect to see every day, that a random new species is actually worse than a Dalek. But that's neither here nor there. Zim Shaw, I believe, was handled very well. It was a natural progression of that character, considering the circumstances he was thrown into at the beginning of the episode. And really, I believe all of the major storylines were handled pretty well. As I've mentioned, all the guest stars as well. Overall, I'd say it's a very fine series finale. They sort of moved away from the entire universe is ending, we need to destroy everything and save it just to make it worthwhile. Although technically they did kind of had to tackle the sort of Death Star approach of destroying a planet, or at the very least containing it, and they did use it on Earth, but then again, it was 3,000 years in the future, and barely anyone even felt it. Yeah, I guess it doesn't really count as too much of a world-ending disaster, but hey, it was a nice, fun series finale, and really, what more could you ask with a show like that? So, I really hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. I really hope you guys have enjoyed my recap of this episode, and thank you guys for watching, and goodbye. Hello again, everybody. I hope you liked this video, and if you did, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to my channel where I do all kinds of weird stuff like showcase all these things, you know, trailer reactions, movie reviews, all kinds of fun stuff. So, until next time, I'll see you guys next time.